From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. And I got Mike Abadir here with me today. I hope everybody's excited. We got Mr. Mike Abadir with us. How's everything going, Mike?
Good, man. It's been a minute. I'm happy to be part of the show again. It's been too long, especially during baseball season. That's where you and I connect on a very, very emotional and intellectual level about the sport that we love. So happy to be with you today.
Always a pleasure to have you always here with me, Mike, man. It's good to just not be the only one talking some days, you know what I mean? But it's all good. What you call it? You know, I just don't want to always look like I gotta have the whole spotlight to myself. You always want to have somebody differences of opinions and other opinions. People want to hear all that good stuff as well too. I try to get as much fan participation as possible as well too. We do have a comment screen as well. So if you are watching on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, do not be scared to participate. So let's get into our first topic, Mike. It's going to be Baker trade to the Panthers finally complete. Who starts now, though, Mike? That's the question. That's my biggest question. Go ahead and give me the blues.
So we have two quarterbacks that were taken almost consecutively. There was a pick between them in the 2018 draft.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Baker Mayfield was coming off of his Heisman Trophy. For a second there, I almost said Cy Young. Heisman Trophy season, and he was the first overall pick by Cleveland. And then the Giants took Saquon Barkley, and then the Jets took Sam Darnold. So I can't remember a time where the first and third pick in 2018 is fairly recently, or have been on the same team competing for a starting job. The thing is, Baker Mayfield has probably won more games because the Jets have always been bad, and Cleveland has had a little bit of a surge over the last few years. But the thing is, Baker Mayfield won because of Cleveland's defense and two guys named Chubb and Hunt. I can't remember very many games where he carried the team. Now, when you go to Sam Darnold, he hasn't had a lot of weapons to work with. I mean, who did he have to work with on the Jets or even on the Panthers? Until obviously the Panthers got McCaffrey, but Darnold and McCaffrey weren't on the same playing field for very much since Darnold's been there because McCaffrey's been hurt. So it's a tough evaluation. I can't say I fully understand what type of quarterbacks these guys are 5 years into the league. I don't know their capabilities when they're surrounded by really good talent. All I know is that Baker Mayfield, even though he had some good receivers and those running backs that I mentioned, there was a while there he had Odell and Jarvis Landry, etc. He threw a lot of boneheaded interceptions, Pop. There were a lot of games where I felt that Cleveland could have put away their opponent, and on a really important 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8, 3rd and long, Baker Mayfield trying to do too much throws an untimely interception. I don't think Darnold has done as much of that, but he hasn't been asked to do a lot either. It'll be an interesting quarterback competition. Bottom line, I don't hold either of these guys in high regard, to be honest with you. So I think they're just middle of the road, bottom to middle of the road type of quarterbacks. I don't think that either one inspires. I don't think either one has lived up to their 1st and 3rd overall picks from the 2018 draft. And that draft overall was pretty weak in terms of quarterbacks. When you look down the list, the next guy was Josh Allen, and he was good. But then after that was Josh Rosen, who's not even in the league anymore. And then Lamar Jackson, he was the last pick of the first round. So all those guys I mentioned have been first rounders. After that, it's a bunch of quarterbacks that nobody's ever heard of for the remainder of the draft. So those guys were the best of the bunch from a very poor quarterback class. I would say that these guys probably, if they don't succeed in the next year or two, are probably going to be career backups from this point moving forward, because they haven't demonstrated jack what. So that's my take on it. I think ultimately Baker Mayfield wins out. I think he's just a little bit more athletic than Sam Darnold. And I think he's a little bit more of a playmaker than Sam Darnold. It'll just depend on how conservative the coaching staff wants to get. If they want some guy who isn't going to make a ton of plays, but he's not going to turn over the ball a lot, if you keep the playbook simple, then maybe Sam Darnold's the guy. But ultimately, I think Baker Mayfield's the guy. What about you?
I just think that they passing time, to be honest with you. Would I say that one of them is going to be on the roster after they get done with training camp and preseason? No. Baker's probably going to be the guy for them. I know Sam Darnold's they've been probably getting some inquiries about Sam Darnold. Now, when you say athletic, I would say that Sam might be a little bit more athletic because he used to like to run a little bit when he was at USC. I just think that the two teams that they put him with, it's a no-win situation for him. You know what I mean?
So you're saying you think he's athletic, but they didn't give him an opportunity to flaunt it.
It's just a no-win situation. The Jets are toxic, bro. At the end of the day, they're a toxic franchise, dog, and it is what it is. And pretty much that was an escape from New York. And then let's just go ahead and remember the first 3 weeks of the season. They're like, well, it seems like Sam Darnold might be able to get it. He's such a good leader. Blah 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 blah. It didn't even take that long for Cam Newton to show back up and be the starting quarterback. So pretty much Sam Darnold is. I think that the jury was out. I think everybody wanted to give him a chance in Carolina, but once they lost those 5 games in a row, everybody the writing was on the wall. But he did get hurt in that process as well too. He had mononucleosis when he started off with the Jets as well. So there's a lot of things. Sam Darnold just had a lot of bad luck, in my opinion, to be honest with you. Baker Mayfield, on the other hand, though, I'll just be honest with you. Baker's going to win the job simply because Baker has won in the NFL. It's not hard to look at that part. And they got to go with the guy who's won in the NFL. Now, he never was a Steve Young, Joe Montana type, but I will say this about Baker. And knowing the Browns as well as I know the Browns, you know what I mean? I don't like to do the homer stuff and things like that, but I do have a somewhat of a history with that team. And I know for a fact that Baker's probably the best quarterback they drafted since Bernie Kosar. And that's saying a lot. I know that because you have to understand, look at all the other quarterbacks they drafted before they got to Baker. Those guys literally never made it past the first 16. They didn't even make it past the first 20 games. They were part of the team, literally. You know what I mean? They've drafted so many quarterbacks over the years and everything. And nobody ever showed up and was successful to the point to where they got them to the playoffs. And I just thought that Baker, the initiative he took on to lead the Browns was something that I liked a lot. That he was the first quarterback to say, this is my team, and da-da-da-da-da. But then we kind of all started realizing this was the only team that you would be able to make all these mistakes on anyway, because anybody else would have probably put you on the bench already. But I think Baker didn't do a great job, but he didn't do a bad job. He was somewhere in the middle. And I think that he showed the Browns that, what they have to have as a leader at quarterback, meaning by example and things of that nature. I know a lot of people just don't like Baker because he's very outspoken, but when it comes to being an actual leader of men, he did a damn good job of doing that. It's just that it didn't work out the way that it was supposed to in Cleveland, because I feel like LBJ ruined the whole situation once he left and everything started coming out that this was the reason why OBJ had went into Siberia somewhat. But that's a stupid excuse because you're an NFL agent. You know this. The OBJ has finally admitted that he was hurt most of the time that he was in Cleveland. So that just that's the stuff that I don't like about these new age athletes, is that they'll let somebody else get thrown well up under the bus, and then they'll finally admit that, oh yeah, I was pretty messed up when I was there. Like, that don't make no sense to me. But all in all, though, I agree. Baker's going to be the starter. Sam Darnold, if they had any confidence in you, they would have never made this trade. They would have never made the trade. Now, they've lost confidence in the head coach. They've lost confidence in the quarterback that they gave up a king's ransom for. Now all they're doing is just baiting their time for their brand new quarterback, because they're looking to be the number one team drafting next year, from what it looks like. But I don't think they're going to be that bad because they still have a good defense.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that they used McCaffrey so much that you only have so many carries in your body right before you get totally beat down. And it's kind of sad that more likely than not, we've probably seen the best of Christian McCaffrey, and he's probably in his prime never going to be playing with like a superb quarterback. That would have been really fun to see. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement with what you're saying. The only thing about Sam Darnold that maybe gives him a little bit of an edge is that he's more of a prototypical quarterback from a size perspective. Sam Darnold, has the prototypical measurables that you kind of want to see, like that 6'3", 225 kind of guy. Whereas Baker Mayfield is barely, 6 feet tall, 215 pounds. But, at the end of the day, I think you're looking for a playmaker. I completely agree with you that this is a time filler. This just gets them by. This just gets them to next season, right? And then we see how it goes. We see how the draft lines up. We see what free agents are out there and figure it out. The team that I'm concerned with is Baker Mayfield's former team, the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
I think that's a big part of this discussion,
Right. Well, go ahead and say your point about that, and then we're going to move on to the next topic in hand. Go ahead, Mike.
I'll keep it simple so we can keep the ball rolling.
Yeah.
I don't know if Deshaun Watson sees the playing field this year. I think that's really my bottom line.
Well, that's, and we didn't even have to get into a whole, and that's why I said let's just go ahead and keep it as short as possible, because I know that that's pretty much the sentiment, that you'll probably not be seeing Deshaun Watson on the field. But I think, though, at the end of the day, the NFL is going to have to take a long look at themselves and say, okay, how are we treating the players and owners? Because we got two owners that have the same type of situation going on right now, and I wouldn't put it far past the rest of them either, that they got some freaky deaky things going on as well too. But you know what? Deshaun Watson is a high profile player. He played for a team in Houston that's actually tried to do a good job of keeping it a discreet situation. But I think, though, at the end of the day, like I tell everybody, the Houston Texans are the biggest reason why this guy is in this situation today. Okay? Because if they knew what was going on, then they know they sabotaged their own franchise quarterback as well, too. You know what I mean? Because the guy just out of nowhere said he wanted to leave. So that's where I'm going to leave it at. And, it's a stinky situation to me, because after a while, you do feel for the ladies, right? But then we do know that people be gold digging as well, too. The moment he said $100,000, there was 10 more cases that popped up, right? So, okay, chick comes out, $100,000. Oh, yeah, this was what the greatest massage I ever done. At the end of the day, I just really think that it's an irresponsible situation on everybody's end. You know what I mean? Everybody was messy in this situation, all parties included. That's my end all be all for that, Mike.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I think the responsibility is squarely on Deshaun Watson's shoulders. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a person. You know me. I'm not like woke at all. I'm the opposite of that. I think for myself, I don't jump on the bandwagon of the direction the sheep are being herded. But with that said, one area that I am pretty devout, I guess you could say, or very strict about is respecting women, and ultimately, we all know that the quarterback is the CEO of the team, is the franchise's face. That's the person that's going to get all the attention, and so he jeopardized all that for all these massages and being disrespectful. He jeopardized his whole career. His career has been derailed. He hasn't been on a playing field for a long time now. It, it's really unfortunate. I guess I'll leave it at that. It's unfortunate. That's the word that I would use.
Yeah, that's why I just didn't want to get too far into that part. Like, me, I try to keep my show very sports. You know what I mean? I don't like to get into off the field stuff unless it's affecting the money, the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. And I think this is affecting the game and affecting the money of the game, because I think with the way that they try to go approach the race situation and everything like that nowadays, where they try to be very, very sensitive towards, I'll just keep it real, towards more, they try to be very sensitive towards, say, if it was Ben Roethlisberger's situation. Ben Roethlisberger was not in the news every day when they were talking about those two situations that he had. And his was a full-blown situation where it went a little bit further than a massage. You know what I mean? And it went a little bit further than what happened in Kobe's situation as well, too. And this man got 6 weeks off. That's it.
Well,
That's
here's the
it.
thing. I think that was a long time ago now. So we
Yeah,
have to kind
but
of look at maybe from a perception perspective, the NFL has really, really gone a long way into adopting, some wokeness, some social responsibility, some attention on racial issues and women in the
Mike,
game
Mike,
and bringing in
Mike.
coaches and stuff. But hold on, let me just finish this point real fast. So I think what they're going to do is look across to the Major League Baseball and see what baseball has done with Trevor Bauer. I think that's the comp.
Look, I say this. We had another situation where a guy was beating his wife. It took him 3 years to even bring it up to him. You know what I mean? Another white player. But if something happens with a black player, and I don't do the race card, but I'm just gonna be honest. It seems like if something happens with one of those players, we're gonna make it front street news. We're gonna talk about every single day. He's the worst person that's ever lived, and pretty much he's the only person that has ever done this in NFL history. You know what I mean? And that's what just gets me like, wow. But I can't defend it with that card because there's 26 women that came out and talked about it. Somebody got to be telling the truth. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
where there's smoke, there's fire. And like I said,
Right,
they're going to
right.
look at the NFL is in a tough predicament because they're going to look at MLB and how they've handled the Trevor Bauer situation, although it's different scenarios entirely. But the Trevor Bauer situation involved consent. I mean, that's what makes it even more quirky. But consent that was maybe taken a little bit too far, a little bit too violently. But my point is, from a perception perspective, if they don't come down hard on Deshaun Watson, it's going to be a bad look for the league. So they've put themselves in a position now where they've dug their heels into all these social responsibility issues, and they are going to have to suspend them for a period of time. And when you look at baseball, Trevor Bauer got a pretty harsh penalty. And I think Deshaun Watson is going to be getting something very similar. That's my take on it.
All right, Mike, we're gonna move on now, man.
Let's do it.
On, man. I gotta move on, dog, because you got me off topic on my show, man. This is my house, brother.
Let's keep it moving.
Script, this is not, come on, man. I gotta keep reminding y'all, I don't get paid by ESPN now. Let's go. I just want to go ahead and talk about Baker. But it's all good, Mike. I'm just messing with you. Don't take it no way seriously. And I knew that this would be a good topic for us to discuss because you know what? It's passing time in sports right now anyway. So let's get to this. I just didn't want to spend too much time on it though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's Friday, brother. So let's talk about Kyrie, and we can get into this real quick because there's really nothing to get into the NBA about. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got Sean Marks, Rob Pelinka, two clueless GMs meeting up to try to go ahead and appease another diva of the NBA. You know what I mean? I just think that a lot of people keep talking about, well, you got to stick to your team and everything like that. I don't want to hear that no more. Because look, Mike, you're an agent. You know this. Teams only worry about themselves. When they're ready to get rid of you, they're going to get rid of you. So if the player can make the choice to get rid of them before they get rid of him, hey, it is what it is. It's business at the end of the day. So all this loyalty to these teams and never leaving a team, and that makes your career different. I'm not going for that no more, man. That's great. That guy stuck around, did the Ernie Banks, didn't never won anything, stuck around at a place, and then hey, that's great for them. That city's going to love them forever. But even if they played there for 10, 12 years and did a great job, that city will love them forever. So when guys move on, they move on. But Kyrie and KD, this almost like drugs for them. You know what I mean? And that's where people get annoyed at is that you're here in this one place. Now you want to go to the next place. And there's a lot of players there. The thing is, they got to get the baseball mentality where there used to be renegades for hire. You know what I mean? Like guys like Ricky Henderson, one of the greatest. You'll always think of him as an Oakland A, but man, Ricky played for some of the best teams in the MLB, period, point blank, and like why they were at their best point, like playing for the Yankees the Yankees were whatever when he was there, but playing for the Blue Jays, that was huge. You know what I mean? So, you look at a guy like that where they were literally moving Ricky whenever they needed to. Those are renegades for hire, guys that are going to always be kind of difficult with the front office and things like that. So I think that they're doing way too much catering to Kyrie, this new NBA, and that's what gets everybody really mad at the end of the day is that y'all cater too much to it. These players keep saying, okay, if you don't do what I want, then I'll just retire. Well, sometimes you got to be Art Modell and just let a person retire. It's that simple. You know what I mean? And if you want to hold on to them, hold on to them. If you feel like that you need to keep them with you and they don't want to stay there with you, then let them know that you're not going to oblige their decision, but they have to do it because it's business. And I just really feel like the Lakers and Nets both are wasting a lot of time with dealing with veterans. I think both teams need to figure out a way to just say, okay, we're just going to go ahead and blow all this up, and we're just going to do what we were supposed to do in 5 years ago, and that's just build the team with the youth, and then we'll figure it out after that. Once we get ourselves a good unit, will be, then we can start thinking about other things. But right now, in LA, it's championships or nothing, and I understand that part.
I'm kind of curious because when Darvin Ham was asked about Westbrook, Darvin Ham was gushing about him. Now, is that because he kind of has to, or is he sincere? He was asked if Westbrook is going to be a Laker. He said, absolutely. He was asked if he's going to be a starter, and he said, absolutely. I sat down with Westbrook, and I went over how we plan to use him. He loved it. We're on the same page, and I'm excited to utilize him. We will not curtail his energy. And that is a quote from Darvin Ham. So it'll be interesting for me to see how this plays out. I can't say I know a lot about Darvin as a head coach. I know he's a tough dude. He was even shot in the jaw. He took a bullet back in the day. So this dude is a tough guy, man. He's got that Saginaw, Michigan toughness to him. So again, I these are topics that you probably are more in tune with than I am, because you're an true NBA expert, and also you're a Laker fan as well. But yeah, man, and I hear what you're saying about Kyrie. I hear what you're saying.
You know that, right?
What's
They
that?
said Laker fans aren't experts, though, Mike. You know that. They're not experts. They're people that just literally sit up there and play Imagination Land. Let me go ahead and try.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about you. You know your basketball.
Guy, and then we'll believe that we're gonna get this guy. And LeBron is our owner, and LeBron is this, and LeBron is that. See them? That's Laker fans nowadays for you. You know what I mean? Real Laker fans like me, we can't wait for this disaster to be over. It's a disaster zone. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
it was already pretty bad. But then we do the cleanup detail. And then next thing you know, LeBron comes on over there and he trashes the place some more. So now all we got is now we looking like King's Landing in Game of Thrones, bro. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it looks good on the outside, but it's really shitty on the inside.
It's a mess.
It's a mess. It's a mess. It's cool up at top, but over here at the bottom, though, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. All right, real quick before we take our first break, let's talk about Summer League and how it's not must-see TV. Now, a few years back, we had a very good Summer League because we had the Lakers who had really had everybody excited because they had Brandon Ingram, they had Lonzo Ball, they had Julius Randle, they had all top players because the Lakers had years of getting picks, right? And they had just picked up Brook Lopez as well too, so that was huge. You know what I mean? Because Brook was coming off being a multiple All-Star, all that good stuff, and the Lakers just brought a buzz to Summer League that year. Like everybody was more tuned into Summer League than baseball. You know what I mean? Everybody was on every given moment of Summer League. Like every single little thing the Lakers were doing, everybody wanted to know what was up. You know what I mean? Lakers were good doing sellouts. Lakers were getting games. Everybody switches around the schedule, but the Lakers kept being in the showcase game of the night, meaning that you're going to play in a game that's the end of the night. All right? Because that's how well you guys are doing selling out this situation. So I felt that they had a team that everybody could get behind, but really they had Lonzo Ball, and it showed the star power of Lonzo Ball as well too at that moment. And there was nothing but high hopes for the Lakers and the league at that point because they felt like they had the next face of the league. And I know it sounds crazy today saying that, but the NBA was pushing Zoe Ball to be, the one that LeBron hands the torch to on, moving the league forward. And
we got to give a lot of credit to the hype machine.
Yeah,
Lonzo's pops.
Right, but at the end of the day, he also performed too. You know what I mean? So when it was time to show up, he showed up, and that's what made it even better that that he talked it into existence. But then once again, as I said before, that Summer League came and went. The Lakers were exciting the next year at Summer League with Hart. But after that, Summer League has just been like how Summer League was before. This is just a good way for them to assess the rookies that they just drafted and figure out and find a way to maybe get a guy in for training camp. He's not guaranteed a contract with the actual team, but you know what? It's another body that's at camp. So really, we're just looking at scrimmages, and I think that ESPN even knows that maybe they might need to back up on this a little bit and let NBA TV just take over this thing for the next forever, to be honest with you, because I just think that it's a waste of time, to be honest with you. What are your thoughts on
I agree with you. I think you have to be a really, 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 really diehard fan to tune into your favorite team's minor league basketball team. I think maybe some really, really diehard fans they want to maybe get a little insight into this year's crop of rookies. Maybe you tune in, but I don't know. As your headline over here, I don't know anybody that thinks that the Summer League is must-see TV. So I agree with you 1,000,000%. I know it's not going to be on my viewership list. That's for sure, because it would cut into baseball for me anyways. And, I'm not that diehard of a basketball fan to cut into my baseball. So baseball, you were on my show yesterday and you pointed out very astutely, baseball is in a great situation. There are so many stars. There is so much appeal to the game right now that and we'll talk about baseball in a minute here, but there's no way that that the summer league is going to win out for my valuable time over MLB. No way, Jose.
And my final point with this is just that sometimes it's just like, okay, go away. NBA, we've dealt with you for the last 6-7 months. The Lakers didn't do anything. They ain't made the playoffs, all right? And so pretty much your storylines went south because Brooklyn couldn't even get out the first round. So what are we talking about now? You got an old star in LeBron. You have no other star that you're handing the league over to right now. Yeah, there ain't nobody else because Steph is old too. You know what I mean? It's not like you get, okay, I'm passing the guard to Steph. No, Steph is just a part of LeBron's group. That's all it is. You know what I mean? But he's the guy that kicked LeBron's ass in the group. So it is what it is. Well, he beat LeBron's team. He didn't necessarily beat LeBron. So all in all, though, I'm going to end it with this so we can take a quick commercial break. We went way over time, but it's all good because I got Mike here. So that's it. Summer League, pretty much next year. Can you just be on NBA TV? And can we not hear so much about you? Because literally, the San Antonio Spurs used to win this like for sport every single season, the Summer League, because they used to be the one team that had all the low draft picks, all the guys that went to college for 4 years, and they would just wipe the floor with these guys. So, and Becky Hammond was the coach. So pretty much Summer League is never going to be as exciting as you want it to be. It's just a whole lot of hype, just like this whole NBA season was. It wasn't a good enough season for anybody to want to show up for this. Seriously, it wasn't. And I didn't see anything that tells me that the future is getting better for the NBA. Seriously.
No.
I looked at 10 picks and I felt like maybe you got one all-star. Maybe one. And I don't like to be like that. I would like to be positive. I like to see guys do great. But that group looked bad. That looked like the group that Pfizer and Martin were a part of back in the day. 2001 draft. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll end it with that, Mike. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. And when we get back, we're going to go ahead and talk some baseball. I know Mike is over here antsy. He's over here about to fall out. But we are going to talk some baseball real quick. We're going to talk some Dodgers, and we're going to talk these weekend series prices as well, too. Yeah, we're going to get into some gambling today. We're going to stop all this gossiping and small talk, and we're going to get right to the money, baby. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, and I'm joined today by none other than radio sports agent aficionado, Mr. Mike Abadurin. We'll be right back to you.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we're back with the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, and I'm here with my man Mike Abadir, and pretty much let's go ahead and get into some baseball. And it was a good night of baseball last night as well, too, Mike. We had some really good games,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know what I mean? I was able to watch. We're gonna get into it real quick, but I was able to watch your Red Sox last night. They tried. They had a nice little 3-run shot there, 4-run shot. Whatever. They had a nice little four-run inning, but it just didn't work out. The Yankees got out to a 5-0 lead early, and it was lights out after that. Well, yeah, but Boston made it a game. They only won 6. They only lost 6-5 though.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts real quick on it, Mike?
Yeah, I think they like you said, they gave up some runs early, and then they tightened up
Mm-hmm.
the pitching, and they started hitting. Devers owns Cole, Garrett Cole. He
Right.
owns him big time. I mean, he just rakes off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Yankees won game one. It was a 1-run game. I think it's going to be a very competitive series throughout. Like I said in the show yesterday, I think if I'm the Red Sox, I want to make a statement. I win 3 out of 4. I think if you split the series, it's kind of you don't want to split at home, but since the Yankees are playing out of their minds, you'll take it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you something. The Yankees are really riding on the coattails of Aaron Judge big time. I wonder what happens when he goes through his first slump, because he hasn't had one yet. And you and I have been baseball fans for long enough, studied the game long enough to know that everybody deals with a slump. So let's see what will happen when that happens. The Red Sox just need to contain him, and I think if they do, they'll wind up on the right side of the scoreboard.
I'm about to make you real mad right now, Mike. Yeah,
All right,
he's
go
gonna
for it.
go through a slump, right? And then they, instead of beating the division by 17 games, they'll just beat the division by 12.
Hey
The
man, all I know is this:
Get
the Red
over it.
Sox. The Red Sox. By the way, the Red Sox one year had a 14-game lead on the Yankees, and it was tied up on the last day of the season. They had to play an extra game, so it's not entirely unprecedented. But like I said, I think they're going to live and die by Aaron Judge. We'll see what happens, man. But
Well,
I'm not
I'm
saying
sorry.
that they're not going to win the division, because I think they are going to win the division. But I think the Red Sox can give them a scare. Starts right now.
You are too damn good of a team when you have 3 other teams with a 500 record with you and you up 14 games. And then the last place team is 5 games away from being 500. That's just incredible, because
Every team in the division has 40 wins.
then you look over at what's going down there in the West, AL West right now, you just got a bunch of people just gasping for air behind the Astros. It's like, okay, we're all going to just play leapfrog on who's going to be second place, but still be below 500.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is.
Although
so,
the Mariners are playing better ball recently, but yeah, overall, it's the Astros division. No doubt about that.
All right. Well, Dodgers last night, 6-1 to start the month off. July, 5-2 win over the Cubbies, and the Cubs are just bad right now. Dodgers won their last 8 out of 9 games as well, too. After kind of, running into a little bit of a rough spot there with the Rockies. So, pretty much now the Dodgers have bounced back, and once they got with the Padres and went ahead and beat them 3 out of 4, they're now sitting pretty with a 6-game lead over the Padres as well, too. So, and now it's no more. And before the Padres had more wins, the Dodgers had less losses. Now it's not even, now the Dodgers have more wins, less losses. They're looking good right now. They actually now have the best record in the National League slightly, even though we know that they are probably going to finish up with the best record in the National League as well, too. So the Dodgers are just cruising right now. Gosselin looked really good last night. I would say that he just keeps on moving. He keeps on moving forward with the possible Cy Young Award winning season as well, too. And possibly he could maybe be talking about a little bit of MVP, but I don't know about all that, because I feel like Gosselin is more of a pitcher that's more about, he just gets out. He gets guys out pretty quickly, and I think that he's very serviceable in that department. I think that's why he's been so successful, because he's not taking too much time up there to get guys on and off, get guys on and off the from the plate and everything like that.
Yeah, Gonsolin's been fantastic, man. In fact, yesterday when we were talking about it, I was making a case that he could be the MVP. It's a very interesting pitching staff because, before the season started, I think if you ask anybody who carries the pitching staff for the Blue Crew, the answer would be Walker Buehler. But that's not the case this year. We've got a pitching staff that is lights out with Gonsolin, Tyler Anderson. Who would have thought that those would have been the two best pitchers so far for the Dodgers? You could have given me 1,000,000 to 1 odds, and I wouldn't have taken Gonsolin and Anderson to be the top two in the rotation so far. Clayton, of course, when he's healthy, he delivers. And Julio Urias, he hasn't necessarily been great, but he also hasn't gotten good run support either. So he's around 500 win-loss record. I think he's 7-6, but he hasn't gotten a lot of run support so far. I think the Dodgers are fine pitching wise. I think they need to get their act together hitting wise, and it starts with Justin Turner and Max Muncy. But overall, they're looking good.
Dodgers are actually, funny thing is, I would want to really say, yeah, the hitting part, but then I looked up the Dodgers are top 10 in all hitting stats as well, too. And it's
but you know what? A lot of that has come from blowouts.
Right, but
a lot of that has come from blowouts. So when you look at some of their losses, like when they lost to the Pirates and stuff like that, they score in bunches.
But that's every good offensive team in baseball, Mike.
True.
That's everybody, because everybody who's in the top 5, they've had games where they score 17, 18 runs in a game, then they come back for 3 days.
You're very right, but I don't remember the Dodgers ever getting shut out like this year.
Yeah, but regardless, though, they are still in the top 10 when it comes to scoring. When it comes to scoring, just hitting. Period.
So let's add to that.
10 home runs. And then they're number 1 in ERA as well, too, 291. At the end of the day, the Dodgers pitching is going to be the Dodgers pitching. These two are doing a great job, but I would say that more as the pitching coach is doing a damn good job with everybody that's a part of the unit, whatever he's telling them what to do. And
Mark Pryor has really proven himself to be one of the top pitching coaches in the league.
Guys like Tyler Anderson, who played for the Pirates somewhere Siberia of the MLB. This is like heaven sent to him, because he knows he has it's just more confidence. You know what I mean? When you know that you got a lineup that's going to be able to score for you, you're going to pitch. And you know that this is the only way you're going to be able to stick around in town is pitching, pitching well. You're going to pitch pretty well. And you like this Dodger job. So they're stepping it up immensely. But I'm with you, though, Mike. I would like to see more clutch situations, because the Dodgers get a lot of guys on base, but they don't get a lot of runs home. They should have way more runs than they have right now. I totally
imagine this also. Everything that you said is factually correct about where their offensive ranks are relative to baseball, right? So look into the future, and what do you see once Muncy starts raking or Justin Turner starts raking? Their numbers are going to be off the charts. So I'm looking forward to seeing those two veteran players get back on track. Muncy's still hitting like 163. So let's see if he can have a good second half where he ends. Look, if he ends the year with like a 230 batting average, it's going to look like crap. But for him to land on 230 from 163, that probably means he's hitting 300 the rest of the way. So, I'm looking forward to that. And I think once that happens, they're going to have a complete offense. They're going to be really dominant.
Yeah.
You're not going to see these shutouts. You're going to see less runners left on base. You're going to see the domination in full force. Kind of like how the Yankees are right now.
Yeah. So instead of just scoring 100, instead of winning 110 games, they'll just win 115.
There you go.
Yeah, because the Dodgers, they're boys of summer. This is their time of the year. July and August are always the strongest months for the Dodgers. I would say September is always when things kind of fall apart, but they're already good at get into the playoffs. So there it is with that. So let's go ahead and MLB series prices. We got some good matchups this weekend. We had some one side, so that's why I couldn't mention those, Mike. So pretty much this today, I'm going to throw one out here that I know kind of catches everybody off guard. This is an under the radar one. This is Rays and the Reds. This is going to be in Cincinnati this weekend as well too. You have the Rays being a big favorite here at minus 200. Now, I would have took the Reds in any other situation, but I looked at their last 10 games and looked at how they started off this month, and they've been pretty atrocious, to keep it honest with you, Mike. It's weird with them. It's like they win one, then lose 3 in a row. That's how the Reds do it. They already won their game this week. So I'm betting on the fact that pretty much that they'll probably get a game here, and hopefully it'll be tonight because I have something later on for that. And I just really think that this could be a Cincy minus 200. These are the bets when you put up minus 200 where it's not too crazy because you're dealing with the series and you're just cashing a ticket. That's all you're doing. And that's what I would advise to anybody when they play something like this. Don't think that you're overshooting the value or anything like that, because this is actually correct. This is the right number, and you get minus 200 on a Rays team going against one of the worst teams in baseball over this weekend. It could be a trap or it could be easy cash. I think it's going to be an easy cash. That's why I'm taking the Rays with the minus 200. Anything you feeling here, Mike? Are you feeling a little froggy? Feeling like it could be an upset here this weekend?
I think the minus 200 is the right play. Tonight's a really nice pitching matchup. Shane McClanahan, who's definitely one of the top Cy Young contenders from the Rays, against Luis Castillo. Castillo is the Reds' ace. He's their best pitcher. He started off the year kind of rough, but he's brought his ERA down with each outing since like May. He's dealing right now. The Reds' best chance to win the series, you got to win tonight with your ace on the hill, right? But unfortunately, they're going up against an ace who's pitching even better than Luis Castillo. So 200 minus 200 Rays, it's the right play.
Well, there it is. All right, we move forward. Let's go ahead and talk about our next series. This is a Central Series right here, and it's the Guardians and the Tigers. This is a pretty good game going on tonight as well, too. This is a good series in general, and this is one where you tell yourself that this could be I'm so sorry. This one is going to be the Royal. They're actually playing the Royals, y'all. I'm so sorry about this. It's the Tigers here, but it's the Royals actually this weekend, and I actually like the Royals in this spot, Mike, this weekend, to be honest with you. I think that they can mess around and, take 2 out of 3 here. It's always a tough outing in Kansas City for Cleveland. Like, even when Cleveland's like a top tier team, it's always a tough weekend or a tough 3-game set against the old Royals. So the Royals are flying well up under the radar. This is something that I think that we can possibly go ahead and cash out. I do like the plus 100, and it gives us literally our only dog bet this weekend, which is literally not even a dog. It's just a pick 'em. So I like the Royals to go ahead and take care of their business this weekend and, take at least 2 out of 3 here.
Completely on the same page with you. I think the Royals are the play here. Brad Singer on the bump tonight against Aaron Savali, who's been a good pitcher the last few years. Decent ERA and decent whip, but this year he is getting beat up, man. He is absolutely getting torched. He's got a 7 ERA, a whip of 1.54. He's not necessarily walking a lot of batters, but he's given up a ton of hits. He's getting shelled. I think the Royals are the play here. I agree with you once again.
All right, well, let's move forward and talk about our next matchup, and that's going to be a tricky one. This is the Twins and the Rangers. Now, I'm favoring the home team here. Rangers are playing really good baseball right now. Twins are a first-place team. They've played really good all year, but this is why the Twins haven't been able to really break away and be as good as the Yankees are, because they just keep running into matchups like this one against a below 500 team like the Rangers, and they might not show up for the weekend, lose 2 out of 3 real quick. But I would say possibly there may be the road has treated them a little bit better, the last few weeks. But I really do think the Rangers, the way that they're playing right now, they're not playing the greatest of baseball, but they're playing very consistent at home. So I do like the way that this is shaping up tonight, and I like the way it's shaping up for the weekend. I think the Rangers could take 2 out of 3, or they could possibly sweep the Twins as well too, just because nobody sees it coming.
The Rangers are slumping right now. They've lost 4 in a row. They're going to be at home though, like you mentioned. I think the Twins are kind of a sneaky play here. I think we're going to see a lot of runs scored, but I think the Twins overall are the better team. Most people had the White Sox as the division winner. I had the Twins. That was my prediction in the baseball preview show, and I'm sticking with them. I think they have an opportunity here. They match up pretty well against the Rangers. The Rangers, I think people started getting excited about them when Simeon finally started hitting, but that didn't last very long. And I think the Twins pitching is good enough to keep those guys shut down. Joe Ryan is going to be a Cy Young Award winner, mark my word, for the Twins one of these years. And and he matches up against them this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and take the Twins. I think the minus 110 is actually a gift of a price.
It should be a lot higher than this. I'm gonna be honest with you, because the Twins are a much better team on paper and from the standings point for this season. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I would say that I would think it'd be more of a minus 140 if at the lowest you giving us minus 110. That's why I'm saying the Rangers here, because there's something going on with the Twins over here. If they not that high of a rank, but we'll see. But the Rangers are really good on the weekend. That's the whole thing. That's why I'm really betting on this, because they were in a tough series this week. But then you say it was the Orioles, right? So, like, come on, Bob, it wasn't that tough. Right. So we got the Phillies and the Cardinals. I actually was in on this last weekend. These guys are playing each other again. I didn't want to be put out a crazy number this weekend, because we did have a plus like 400 this weekend. I think it was in the Tigers series against the White Sox this weekend. But I look at this one. We got the Phillies and the Cards, the Dodgers, the Cubs. It was insane how big that one was. I was like, Dodgers Cubs matchup. Wow, you never get it that big. But Phillies Cardinals. Man, I'm gonna go in a different direction this weekend. I had the Cardinals last weekend, and I'm going to take the Cardinals again. I said a different direction, but I'm actually going to take it into that direction once again with the Cardinals. I think that the Cardinals should be good this weekend. They were kind of struggling a little bit last weekend, but they should be better this weekend, in my opinion, Mike. So I like them with the minus 115.
We're on the same page again. I like the Cardinals as well. Cardinals are one of those teams that they're always good somehow. They always find a way to play good baseball. The Phillies have been playing better since they got rid of Joe Girardi, although I don't think it was Joe Girardi's fault. But they just lost their MVP, Bryce Harper. He's out for a little bit tonight. It's an excellent pitching matchup. You got two of the better pitchers in the National League in Waino, Adam Wainwright, and Zach Wheeler. Both are having really strong campaigns so far. Good matchup. I side with the Cardinals because their hitting is rolling right now. Arenado he hit for the cycle one day, and then the very next day, he's hitting. He's a part of a lineup that hit back to back home runs in one inning. How about that for a little history, huh? Hit for the cycle one day and be a part of 4 straight home runs. Cardinals hitting is delivering right now. They're the play.
Yep. We'll see. And hopefully they'll go ahead and show up, because they're at home this weekend and not in Philly like last weekend. And we'll see how it goes. There was a little bit of pressure on them last week anyway. They're all right. They'll be all right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and talk some tickets real quick, Mike.
Okay.
Let's get into this pick 4 first. Pick 4 is going to be a 38-1 ticket. Yeah, I'm a little crazy today.
A lot of pluses. I see a lot of pluses.
It's a dog day pick 4. It got to be pluses, because People will give you one of these and it'll be plus 105, plus 115. Oh, I have one that's plus 135. You're not playing, dude. When you do those type pluses, damn near just picking a pick 'em. Now, what we're doing here is we got the Reds today. I know I got the Rays winning the series, but I got the Reds sneaking this one out because their best pitcher is going tonight. So I like them with the plus 150. And then the Marlins tonight, sneaky good against in New York tonight. They always figure out a way to just ruin the day in Queens for the Mets, and I think that today is going to be that day. So that's why I'm taking them with the plus 135. I like the Pirates tonight against the Brewers in that divisional matchup. They've given the Brewers fits all season. I know the Brewers got one of their better pitchers on the mound tonight, but I think the Pirates really don't care about all that. So I'm taking them with the plus 175. And I know the Giants, they are a struggling bunch right now. They are not playing good baseball, but the Padres aren't playing great baseball either at this point. So I like the Giants tonight with the plus 135. That gives us a 38-1 ticket right there, Mike. I'm just playing the value there, and hopefully we can go ahead and cash this bad boy out.
Interesting about the Giants, they're 11 and a half games out. I didn't realize that. We kind of think of the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Giants being really close, and it might end up being that way. I don't think so, but it might. They're 11 and a half out. The Padres have dominated them in recent time, but I think the Giants are getting healthy at the right time. It's going to be a great series. It's already a good series. Last night, we got free baseball, extra innings between the two teams. They got some really good pitching, and it was a great pitching performance. Should be another great game. I think the Giants absolutely can win this game. Plus 135. It's a bargain.
Man.
And keep in mind, Blake Snell has not pitched well ever since he came over from Tampa. And so, he's 0-5 with a 5+ ERA. So the guy just doesn't deliver. I don't think the Giants are at all scared of him. I don't want me to talk only about the Giants on this play, but I think that's going to be the key one, right? Because that's the last game. So that's going to be pretty cool when you're 3 for 3. Now you're going into that night game rooting for the Giants. They've got Sam Long pitching for them. He's got an ERA sub-2 ERA. So that's going to be a lot of fun there. So I like this play. Starting off with the Reds. We talked about the ace, Luis Castillo. He's been dealing lately. I think he could shut down the Rays tonight. And then you're going to need them to win the next 2. Okay, they could do so. They'll take 2 out of 3. It ain't going to start tonight.
All right. Well, hopefully we can get it tonight, and we'll go from there. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the pick 6. And in the pick 6, we got the over 9 with the Nats and the Braves, and then we got the Cards tonight with the plus 1.5. That's a big number though, 2 on there, 160 for that bad boy. But it's all good. It's all good. I just got the Cards keeping it real close tonight. Then we got the over 8.5 with the Cubs and the Dodgers tonight as well. Then we also have the minus 1.5 with the Royals tonight. I like the Royals that much that I think that they can win by 2 or more runs tonight as well. Then we got the White Sox at home with the minus 165. And then we got the Jays in Seattle with the late game at minus 110. And this is going to wind up being a 45-1 ticket. What do you like the most out of this group, Mike?
The over on the Cubs and Dodgers. I'm going to make a prediction. We're going to see a 3-run shot from either Turner or Muncy tonight. We're going to get a home run from one of those guys, maybe both. I think there's going to be some runs scored tonight. Nice warm weather. I think the ball is going to carry well at Dodger Stadium. Even though you got 2 good pitchers pitching, I think it's just one of those games where the hitters come to play. And the Cubs have some exciting young hitters. Like keep an eye out for Ortega and Morel and some of these guys. They're kind of a fun team. They're a young team. They're not a very good team, but they push hard. They try hard. I think these 2 teams are going to score some runs tonight. So that's my favorite out of those.
All right. There it goes. So pretty much once again, it was a It was another great show with my man Mike. Abadir, and pretty much Mike. Where can they find you at?
Twitter at Mike Abadir. That's ABADIR. No spaces, no underscores, just one word. Mike Abadir.
Mm-hmm.
Great time, man. I love chopping it up with you. It's been too long. We'll hopefully have a little bit more continuity and regularity throughout this summer, man. And then up into football season, which is around the corner. Crazy, man. This year's just flying by.
Right. Well, we'll get into something next week. We just got to figure out what day you're available. And we can go ahead and get that done. And then quite possibly I might be on your show once again next Thursday if everything is in place for me to be in shit. You know, if it's not too busy and if you need me, I'll probably be there Thursday as well too. So you guys make sure just keep tuning in. Mike will be here. We'll be back. But, you know, we're here in the summertime and we're going to keep you guys, since they don't want to keep you guys educated and keep showing you how fun baseball is. Me and Mike could do it. No problem.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? ESPN, Fox, you guys are losing out on a great year of sports and baseball. You know what I mean? You lose out a great year of baseball chasing trades. Chasing trades and cases. You know what I mean? That's everything that ain't got nothing to do with the sports. But it is what it is. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, with Mike Abadir. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and we are gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production